When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black and the green around me. For in the new life I shall rise up with God's wisdom blessings to lead the millions of the heights and the triumph that you well know. Look for me in a world when there is storm. Look for me all around you. For the God's grace, I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa. So they do with the right for liberty, freedom, and life.
Greetings, African people. Sorry, I just had a few technical issues, so I had to restart the live. Hope you're all doing good, family. I'm trying to just set up a few things real quick. Please comment where you're from, where you're watching the live from, family. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Like, share. So today we are going to talk about how important it is to invest in Africa. And when we are talking about, or when I'm talking about investment, I'm not talking about huge, greetings. I'm not talking about, huge investment. I'm just talking about things that we can do, as a group of people, maybe one or two people, peace, one or two people, three people, depending on the sector. So again, we have to understand how, industrialization is important, manufacturing. So one thing we have to keep in mind is, I want to share this real quick, is the lack of infrastructures in Africa, for instance. There are barely no roads, no bridge, no railway, or they are actually, but they are, not efficient to help anybody who's willing to, let's say, transport some goods from point A to point B. It's becoming impossible. And one of the reasons I often, mention is because the government are not there to develop their country. Remember, they are all trained by European to solve European issues. They are not trained to solve African issues. So Africans from the diaspora, I think now is the time for you to look toward Africa and understand that Africa has a lot of potential. Africa has a lot of opportunities to offer. We really have to understand those things. And when I'm talking about infrastructures or opportunities, again, I'm not talking about billions of dollars. For instance, let's start with distribution. We don't have distribution infrastructures. So this is one issues as well. So the lack of, I will say, efficient storage and distribution infrastructures leads to 50% of fruits and vegetables to rot before they reach the market. I really want you to understand that part, how the lack of efficient storage and distribution infrastructures are, causing a lot of loss. So how can we, tackle that? How can we stop that? And at the same time provide jobs, or at the same time create structures? We will have to think about bringing either trucks from America or Europe to Africa. And those are things that we can do, with two, three, four people. There also the lack of, I will say, people in the agricultural sector. Africa is only utilizing 10% of its farmable land. And we have a continent with over 1 billion people utilizing only 10% of their farmable land. So imagine, which means that Africans are mainly relying on importing food, which is a shame, right? So those are opportunities that we can look at. we have to understand that nobody's going to build those things for us. And now is the time because Africa has a growing population. Africa has a huge and profitable market. That's why all the nations are running to Africa. One thing I want to also mention is that I was part of a webinar in which now the Canadian government is actually pushing people or encouraging people from Canada to go and invest in Africa. They already have their representatives in multiple countries in Africa. Why can't we do it as Black people? Why can't we unite? Or why can't we tackle certain sectors? You know, two or three people, like I say, a group of 10 people maximum, understand the needs and provide the service. As long as you are providing a service, there will always be people to pay for the service you will be offering. So this is something to consider. Sorry, excuse me, what type of services are needed in Africa, for instance? Those are things that we have to look at. I don't know if you guys understand. Peace, brother. You know what I mean? So those are things that we have to look at and study properly. Few years ago, I was talking about land ownership and how important it was for us to start acquiring land. Some of the land that I was talking about, let's say 3, 4 years ago, are so those lands, people used to purchase those land for 500 US dollars. Now those lands are so, I will say, expensive that one plot now sells for 2,000, 3,000. So those are things that we have to understand and act on it. A piece of land that you can purchase for 500 is barely nothing, right? So imagine purchasing a piece of land and just planting some trees, some fruit trees on the land, for instance. 3 years later, let's say if you have spent 500 to purchase the land and you have spent another, let's say 1,000 to plant some trees. 3 years later, you will be able to sell that land for 3,000 or 4,000 easily without any infrastructure on the land, just fruit trees. And again, you have to study the fruits, you know, what to plant and how to plant it. Those are basic things that you can, utilize to generate funds, for instance. Those are not huge amount of money to start those type of businesses. Now, I was talking about distribution. I was also talking about infrastructures. Purchasing, let's say, a tractor or heavy duty car, something, a truck, for instance, and ship it to Africa. I'm talking about used one. I'm not talking about new, heavy duty trucks, for instance. And maybe think about building cold room storage. Those are little things, those are basic stuff that any nation needs. But African leaders are not thinking about those things. So we have to be really, and I'm talking about the diaspora, of course, Africans in the diaspora. We have the potential, we have the knowledge, we have the technical expertise. The only thing that's missing is for people to look toward Africa. It's for people to start studying the market and understand that there are services that need to be developed. The Chinese are going there. I say this so many times. The Europeans are going there. The Africans from the diaspora are not well represented in Africa because most of them are not really looking toward Africa. But if we want to solve some issues, even in the West, Africa is where we have to look up to. Africa is where we have to go to understand certain things. Manufacturing our own everything, our own items is a must. We have to keep depending on the enemies or on other people to feed and clothe us. This is very important, my African people. You see, today again, I'm in my African dashiki. The fabric came from Holland. I did the batik in Africa, but again, I wish we had an African textile company. I spoke about textile because it's something vital. We all use textile, right? But there's no African company that produces textile, which is a shame in 2021 or 2022. We should be able to think about those things. We should be able to produce some of those basic necessities. 10% of the land, of the farmable land, that's all African are cultivating. They still have over 80% of farmable land that nobody's cultivating, nobody's touching, because everybody want to work in the office. Everybody, like one of my brothers say last time, want to be the next Jeff Bezos. And everybody's looking into modernization, thinking that modernization means westernization. Those are two different things, family. We can modernize Africa by first feeding the people, creating structures, infrastructure, like I mentioned, finding ways to distribute the food that the farmers are growing. Because if 50% of the food that the farmers are growing is completely wasted before you reach the market, everybody is losing, from the farmer to the driver to whoever needs the produce. So those are basic things that we can do. We can really do those things. And again, we are not going to wait for somebody to give us money or donate to us. I mentioned the susu. You can be susuing with just 3 people for a year or 2, people that you trust, and you all know it's for business. It's for something that you guys will benefit from, or your children will benefit from. A lot of us didn't have parents who were able to pay for our school. What did we do? Take a loan, college loan. A lot of people are now repaying their loan. But if your parent had money, they would have paid your school, right? So we have to prevent this generation to go through the same thing that we went through. If we have businesses, if we have farms, if we have all kind of livestock project, from growing basic stuff to exporting those things and then transforming, those are different industries that we will be gradually building and developing. Nobody can do it. And if you rely on the government, nothing is going to be done. I mentioned this and I will keep mentioning it. The Chinese are there, the Europeans are there. Now Canada is paying people to go and create business in Africa. They already have their representatives. And they're very wise and smart. So they're sending Africans living in Canada as representatives. But they're working for who and for which government? For the Canadian government, which is ready to sponsor them, finance them to bring things in Africa, create structures in Africa. They're talking about schools. All those things that we can do and develop ourselves are now done by who? Foreigners. And gradually we are losing our traditions, our cultures, and most of who we are. So invest in Africa, start connecting with people on the continent. But one of the biggest moves will be to go on the continent just to visit. Don't go to Ghana because everybody's going to Ghana today. Look at the options. Why are you going to Ghana? Or why are you going to Tanzania? If you want to build generational wealth, you cannot follow a trend. You will have to study the market, the people. And of course, although those people that I mentioned in Europeans or Asian, some of them are not living there. They go study the market, they invest in whatever they want to do, and then they go and come back whenever they want. They have people on the ground. So those are again basic stuff. A piece of land now in Africa, in some countries, you can purchase a piece of land for $1,000 US. If you're saving $200 every month until the end of the year, you should be able to purchase a piece of land. Or even if it takes you 2 years to save the money and purchase the land, You purchase the land, you do the paperwork. Now, of course, you have, thought about what you're going to do on the land. So if you want to start with the school, for instance, you have the funds to start the school. If you want to start building uh, storage, cold rooms, all those things of that nature, you know how much it will take you to build those things, even if you're building them gradually. Remember, those are industries. You purchase the land, nothing is being done. You're not helping anybody. But the minute you start building on that land, you're providing jobs because you will need masons, carpenters, electricians, plumbers. See, 4 industries right there. But the saddest part is none of the items or materials that those workers are utilizing are coming from Africa. Even the nails are coming from China. We have to think about those things, family. It takes a few of us to build great project. I often talk about the land that my family and I have. We didn't purchase those, I will say, these 5 acres in one day or 2 months or 2 years. It took years, several years. And then we started thinking about how to make the land accessible. What should we do on the land? Or how are we going to do what we want to do on the land? But again, it requires planning. It requires dedication and seriousness. Remember, 1,500 US dollars or 1,000 US dollars to purchase a piece of land is nothing, family. You can purchase that land and forget about it, and whenever you're ready, you go there. But make sure you stay connected with the people who are taking care of your land. You don't have to build anything on the land, just plant trees on it. Just plant trees on it. But we have to think about investing. I'm not going to mention big investment project because everybody's crying, everybody's complaining about not having money. So I'm not going to talk about other, profitable industries. But those are basic stuff, family. Distribution, helping with building infrastructures, purchasing materials or machineries from India or whatever, and start producing. It will cost you less to start an industry in Africa as opposed to starting an industry or anything here in the West. We all know that. Is it the fear to go to Africa? What it is, if anybody can, say, why are we not looking toward Africa? Why are we not trying to not necessarily develop Africa, but make money and help our people? Why are we suffering? That's one of the things I want to ask, family. Is don't be shy. I know people don't talk really when questions are asked, but yeah, we really have to think about those things. We have to think about investing in Africa. Investing in Africa, it's very important, family. School uniforms, everything needs to be done on the continent. Seriously, everything needs to be done, right? So if we can purchase whatever we have to purchase, but let's think about the specific industry, and gradually you will build your own industry. You don't have to live there unless you really like the place and you want to stay there, but you can set up a business back home and have people managing or running your business, and you come back whenever you want. It takes time. It takes time. It will take time, but we have to do it now because sooner or later it's going to be more difficult for us because the competition is tough. As I'm talking to you now, we right now we're all talking about Asian. Peace, brother. We're all talking about Asians. But I'm telling you, Canada is now financing Canadian and many Africans, Canadians to go to Africa and bring Canadian brands and develop sectors. So on that webinar, what they were saying, they were talking about agriculture. They were talking about a lot of stuff that we can do, but they're talking about things, on a bigger scale. But we can really organize, like I said, utilizing the susu or really being, tough with our finances $200 might be too much for some of you to save on a monthly basis. Maybe $100 every month. At the end of the year, that's 1,200. You can keep it there or save the money for 2 years or 3 years. But while you're saving the money, you're doing your research. You know exactly how much the land is going to cost you, the paperwork and everything, and the remaining amount. You know what you can do with it because you have already studied the market. And I say this, I'm here to help anybody who needs information on how to build structures in Africa. I don't know all the countries, but I have some strong connection in some countries. So depending on what anybody want to do, I'm here to assist. Again, don't think about the stuff that you are not going to do within 10 years. Don't talk about building towers. Don't talk about bringing technology, even if it's needed, if you don't have the money. Don't go and talk about 100,000 business or 200,000 business when you can't even raise 10,000. Start small, but gradually you can generate. Everybody eats. I keep saying this. Everybody eats. Everybody eats. So look into the livestock and agricultural sector. They are very profitable. And then now, when you have everything when it comes to logistics, trucks, storage, cold rooms, those are again three different industries in which the same person who's growing their food can invest in. The thread we're not making. I spoke about underwears. I spoke about socks. I spoke about so many things that we are not able to produce. We import more rice than we consume. A lot of Africans eat rice. Most Black people eat rice. But we're not able to produce enough to feed Africans. So again, those are basic stuff, family, basic stuff, but it takes dedication. It takes time. And those infrastructure issues that I mentioned are not going to be solved by the government because anything the government or the African governments are doing, they are solely relying, like expecting the Chinese to finance the project. But they're not going to prevent you to build any structures if you have the means. So invest in Africa, family. The land is very important, family. The land on which you're going to build your structure is very important. Now, if you don't want to buy land, that's fine. But think about services that you can provide. Africa went from trying to develop their nation or nations now to literally giving their nations to China to develop it. Once again, in those type of deals, Africans from the diaspora are not represented. We should be a strong power right now on the continent. I know there are a lot of people like me who are living in the West, but are spending or sending money every month to build structures. It will take time for us because we have a life here, we have families here, and on top of that, we have family back home as well. But yet, we're still trying to build something. If some of us just wanted to, I don't know, build stores or whatever the case might be, would have done that thing a long time ago. But in everything we are doing, I'm talking about Pan-Africans, we're trying to think about community as well. We have to. It takes 1 or 2 generations to build some solid foundations. So if we are not doing it right now, who is going to do it for our children? Keep in mind that land is still affordable in Africa. I spoke about 3 years ago how you could purchase land, some land or some piece of land in some countries for $500, some even $300. Now you're not going to find this. They range from 1,000 and up. And 1,000, I'm not talking about the cities or town, those are villages. But yet, if you are serious and dedicated, you can purchase a piece of land for 1,200 or 1,500, right? Takes dedication, family. It takes dedication. I don't know if you have any questions, family, but keep in mind that we are lacking in infrastructures. Keep in mind that some of the basic necessities that we have here in the West are not are not met back home. People need to build those things. People are still struggling to have clean water. So let's think about those things. Those services are needed back home. We need teachers. We need teachers. We need trainers to train those who are going to operate those machines. We need drivers. We need all kind of professionals. But without structures, it would be vain to go to Africa just to say you want to train people. Even training people is a field that's, I would say, lucrative. If you have a program or platform on which you can teach and train people, that will help a lot of brothers and sisters from risking their life and go to Europe or to America, for instance. So, family, investing, understand what's needed, which are the sectors in which you can invest gradually, even if you don't have the funds, or you can save up a little bit and then invest. But before doing anything, try to visit the place in which you want to create your business or set up your structure. I don't know if there is anybody who want to talk or to join me on the live. If you want, let me know in the comment. If you have any question, family, please let me know. This is not going to be a long live. It's just to remind you that you have to keep thinking about Africa. Investing in Africa and creating structures will help us live better in the West. Any question, my brothers and sisters? No? So if there is no question, no. Well, I'm gonna end the live, family. For those who are not, haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Share the information. Once again, now is the time, family. Now is the time. They are not making land anymore. Soon, the land is not going to be affordable because of the competition. Make up your mind, family. Make up your mind. Write things down and make sure within a year or two you have enough money to purchase a piece of land. Start with that. It's not necessarily to build a house, it's to create structures. Think about creating structures, family. So, please, my brothers and sisters, I will again, elaborate on my IG page, of course, as usual. But you know where to reach me at. If you have any questions, I'm there for you. So once again, family, thank you for joining. Share the live, talk with your family and see what can be done. But don't forget to invest in Africa, family. Peace and have yourself a great night.
When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black, and the green around me. For in the new life I shall rise up.